Alright, so now we're going to do our example for integrating area with respect to y, as well as we're going to do some more examples on your take-home quiz here. Alright, so what does f of y mean? And I started to work this out earlier and I said, you know what, I could show it better. F of y is basically an inverse function, but we're not going to write it as an inverse function. We're going to keep it in terms of y. In terms of y. Okay, so we're going to work it out and keep it in terms of y. So what's the normal f of x? The normal f of x was negative x squared plus 9. Okay, the normal f of x was negative x squared plus 9. So y equals negative x squared plus 9. So this is in terms of x. Well, I'm going to get it in terms of y. Okay? I'm going to get it in terms of y. And my brightness is a little too much for me right here. Alright. So, let me zoom in a little bit. So let's get it in terms of y. So we got to get x by itself. I'm going to minus 9 from both sides. Now notice I didn't switch the y and the x. That's not what I want to do, okay? Because I know that I'm going to write it in terms of y, okay? So it's not like a normal inverse function. Here, divide by negative 1, okay? Take the square root. Alright, and that's it. X is now the same thing as, excuse me, let me scroll on up. X is the same thing as f of y equals, in terms of y, the square root of negative y plus 9. Okay? Now, so this is actually a tougher example. Let me show you why. So when I substitute this back into my formula, which I'm going to work out, alright, I end up with integral from 2 to 8 of square root of negative y plus 9 dy. Okay? Now, I'm going to integrate this the same way as I would integrate an x, because I'm literally treating it like an x, okay? I am treating this like an x. But I have an issue with this little, I have a parentheses, and it's raised to the 1/2 power. See, I can't do this. Can't do it, okay? But I can do my u sub. Alright, now not all your problems are going to have u sub, but this one does. U is equal to negative y plus 9. Du is equal to negative 1 d, in this case dy. Alright, so there you go. Alright, but it doesn't match up. There's no negative 1 out here. There's just a dy. So I'm going to multiply both sides times negative 1. Now there's a negative 1 du equals dy. Alright, so I'm almost done here. I've just got to continue working. I've got my u matches here. My negative 1 du matches dy. So I start with the s, the integral 2 to 8. I'm just whapping those multiplying constants in wherever I want. Whap the du at the end. And then I plug the u in for this, so now it's u to the 1/2. Okay? Now I can go ahead and integrate negative 1 times 1 over 1/2 plus 1, which is 3/2, u to the 3/2 plus c. Okay? So that's bar 2 to 8 negative 1. Okay, my bad. I put that in my answer. That's supposed to be in there. Negative. Alright. That becomes 2/3. negative 2/3 u to the 3/2, which is negative y plus 9 to the 3/2, and then I plug it in. Alright, so here's where I'm going to get my trusty calculator out. Alright, I'm not going to work all of this out, so let me just go ahead and zoom out here. Y'all can get the whole picture. Okay. Notice this is all you have to do. Get it in terms of y. Get x by itself. Boom. Same thing. Yeah, I had to do a u sub, but it wasn't too ugly. It was okay. So now we're going to put it in our calculator. Quit that out. So I've got negative 2/3. Here's a little trick for the calculator. Here's a little trick. I'm going to take this. Let me zoom this in here. Okay. Little trick right here. Negative 2/3. I can factor that multiplying constant out. Okay. If I factor that multiplying constant out, now all I have to plug in is the negative 2. Sorry, I plug in the 8 first. My bad. The negative 8 plus 9 to the 3/2. Kansas. Or minus the negative 2 plus 9 to the 3/2. And then I'm going to take my answer I'm going to multiply by that multiplying constant. Okay? Oops, I didn't show the rest of that. I'm going to take my answer there and multiply it by that multiplying constant. Okay? So that's what I'm going to do with my calculator. Alright, right here. Alright, if I could fit it all. It's hard to fit. Okay, well I'll just come back. I can prop that up. There you go. Alright, so I'm going to put this in my calculator, and I'm only going to put in the negative 8 plus 9 to the 3/2 and the negative 2 plus 9 to the 3/2, which is basically 1, whoops, not tangent, 1 caret 3 divided by 2 minus 7, whoops, okay, and there you go. That's it. Alright, so that's what we have there. Uh-oh, light went off again. Okay. That's what we have there. I wish the glare wasn't so bad. I'm sorry, guys. Maybe if I zoom in a little bit. There we go. So now that is what I got from here and here. I factored out the negative 2/3, so now all I'll have to do is times negative 2 divided by 3. So that's, what was it, negative 17.520 times negative 2/3 is equal to 11.680 units squared. And so that's how it works out right there, all the way across. So that's what we got. Okay, so all right, I'm going to do a couple more examples real fast about the next two problems in your take-home quiz. And I see that this is a little off. I don't think you can actually catch the rest of that. Hopefully you were able to catch everything. My video is a little off here. Alright, so next couple problems on your take-home quiz. Alright, so first we have number 5, which looks a whole lot like this. Okay, find the area bounded by the two curves. F of x is equal to x cubed minus 4x, and g of x is equal to 1/2 x cubed minus 2x. Now, this could be done a couple different ways, And so let's just, I'm going to do an example similar to this. All right. So let's say I have f of x is equal to negative 1/3 x cubed minus 3. All right, and then g of x is equal to x cubed minus 9x. Okay, so, well, let's make it interesting. Let's make it x cubed minus 16x. Actually, that's minus 3x, minus 16x. All right, I don't know where this is going to go, but let's get our calculator out. Unless, this is non-calculator, but you've got to have some sort of a sketch, and you'll be provided a sketch. Okay, so 1 divided by 3, oh, sorry, clear. Alright, so let's graph that and see how that looks. Alright, that one looks okay. And wowzers! Okay, so it's kind of hard to see this. So I'm assuming the graph is going way higher than I thought it would. So I'm going to go window, and I'm going to make the y max 20, y min negative 20. Okay. So I've got this boomerang, or I don't know what I could call that, but it's that shape that I'm looking at right there, and I'll try to draw it best I can. You got something like that going on. Well, no, not like that on that side. Something like this going on, okay? Okay, first I got to identify which is which, all right? So I think that this one is g of x, this one right here, and this one right here is f of x. Right there, okay? So that's what I think, and that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Alright, so here we go. F of x, g of x, and we're going to use that tool we talked about, alright? This is A, this is B, and this is C. F of x is on top here. Alright, I'm sorry. No, that's not f of x. That's g of x. This is f of x. Alright, g of x is on top here. F of x is on top here. So let's do A1. We're finding area 1. G of x is on top. So we have to do the integral from A to B, alright, of g of x minus f of x. Alright? Dx. Don't be distasteful. And then we're going to add this area. We're going to add area 2. That's area 1 plus area 2. We're going to do the integral from B to C of f of x minus g of x dx. Okay? So there we go. That's what we got to do. So now what we got here is intersection points. If they're intersection points, let's do f of x equals g of x. Let's find those intersection points. So off to the side, to find A, B, and C, we're going to do intersection points. F of x is equal to g of x. f of x is 1/3 x cubed minus 3x equals g of x is x cubed minus 16x. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract the 1/3 x squared from x cubed from both sides, so negative 3x equals 2/3 x cubed minus 16x. Okay, and then add the 3x to both sides. I get 2/3, 0 equals 2/3 x cubed minus 13x. Okay, now I can factor. I want to solve. So I factor out an x. I'm left with 2/3 x squared minus 13. Okay, let me bring it up. Now, here's the tricky part that some people forget. I can set this factor equal to 0 and this factor equal to 0. And then I end up with 2/3 x squared equals 13, and I can multiply by the reciprocal 3/2, and I get x squared equals 39/2. Alright, so I take the square root, and x equals plus and minus square root of 39/2. Now, I said this wasn't calculator, but it looks like it's going to end up being calculator because I can't evaluate that. Alright, I'm going to have to use my calculator. On your problem, on your take home, you won't have to use your calculator. You'll get rational numbers. Alright, so we know that in our diagram we can go up here and say, alright, one of our answers was 0, x equals 0, and then one was negative square root of 39/2, and one was positive square root of 39/2. So there we go. Now we can go ahead and work out our integrals, and I can actually use the square roots. Alright, instead of a, I've got negative square root of 39/2. Okay, and b is 0, and you got g of x minus f of x. So I'm going to work out this one only first. So I'm going to work this one out right here. Okay, so I end up with here I've got x cubed minus 16x minus, that's g of x, minus f of x, 1/3 x cubed minus 3x. Okay, and I'm not doing this one. I'm not going to do that one yet. I'm going to work this one out totally. Okay, so bring down my integral. So x cubed minus 1/3 x cubed is 2/3 x cubed, and there you go, and that becomes positive 3x, so minus 13x dx, being distasteful. I'm ready to integrate, so I bar it up. Okay, alright, so I plug in 0 first, so that becomes 0. Then I put a minus sign. Then I plug in negative square root of 39/2. Okay, so 2/3 negative square root of 39/2 cubed minus 13 times negative square root of 39/2, and there you have it. Alright, I'm sorry that's a bit sloppy, but that's what you have when you plug in the negative square root of 39/2. So now I'm going to use my calculator. Like I said, y'all didn't have to, but on this one it just so happened to be you have to. Alright, clear, you have 0, alright, minus parentheses 2 divided by 3 parentheses, negative, square root, 39 divided by 2, alright, end parentheses, to the third power, okay, minus 13 times, alright, the parentheses negative, square root 39 divided by 2. I'll delete that. Alright, end parentheses, end parentheses. Alright, so let's see if my parentheses are good. I do believe they are, and I do believe all my parentheses are correct. So I hit enter, and I get 0. Well, that's not good. 2/3 negative square root of 39 over 2 minus 13.
Luis Escalera, please come to student services. Luis Escalera.
Ben Delgado
Huh.
and Kimmy Brady to the front office, please. Ben Delgado and Kimmy Brady to the front office, please.
I do not understand. Oh, I forgot to integrate. Well, that just blew that example.